Hi, this is Phil, user PhD21 from the Linux Mint forums. One of the questions that pops up a few times a year is how do you create a DVD to play in home or business DVD or Blu-ray DVD players? From your own videos. And one of the best programs I've found to do that is called Bombono. Now, I happen to be using Linux Mint 18.3 XFCE 64, and it's a 64-bit operating system. Linux Mint are wonderful free computer operating systems with free long-term support, and there are 4 versions of Linux Mint, and Cinnamon, Mate, XFCE, and KDE, and all of them. Linux Mint Cinnamon is their flagship, and but they all have pros and cons. I mean, they all work great. It's you just have to try them and see which works best for your computer hardware. The version I happen to be using right now for this test is the XFCE version, because one of the people in the Linux Mint forums was having a problem creating a DVD, and they were using XFCE, so I wanted to try, so I installed Linux Mint XFCE to duplicate their system, so to make sure everything worked properly. I have used Bombono and DVD programs and all the other versions, and the instructions in this tutorial should work for all editions of Linux Mint. So now, in order to create, and here's the post on the screen now, and I'll read a little bit of it. He wants to create, my dad, I'm quoting the person from the Linux Mint forum. Last Sunday, June 3rd, 2018, my dad wanted me to make a video DVD of files from his nature camera. And there are various programs that can do that. And I'll get into that in a moment. Bombono is one of them. There's another one called DVD, D-E-V-E-D-E, and DVD Styler, and Open DVD Producer. And as far as I know, those are the main available ones. Bombono is my favorite, and that's what this tutorial is going to use. But before you can start creating your own videos, DVDs, there are some initial considerations and concerns, preparations. First, you have to have a DVD burner, internal or external, or a Blu-ray DVD burner writer. You need DVD discs, blank DVD discs, and there are different types of that, and you need software, software applications to create the DVD. And there's the ones I just brought up. Also, you can just use anyone could just use a standard DVD program. In Linux, there are 3 main ones. K3B is my favorite DVD, CD, Blu-ray disc application for burning or writing DVDs or ripping DVDs. Brasserio is another one, and XFburn is one. There's another one that's available called Simple Burn. There might be others. Nero, which is a pretty famous DVD, CD, Blu-ray disc application, available, as far as I know, on all platforms. Microsoft Windows, Macintosh, and Linux. And my favorite in Linux is K3B. Now, anybody can just take whatever videos, pictures, files, documents, music files, whatever, and just create what they call a data DVD. And you just copy it, to the disk. That's pretty basic, but there, it's a lot better, in my opinion, if you're going to create if you want to create a DVD for family members, friends, yourself. Why not, personalize it with your own pictures, your own menus, your own buttons, and Bombono is superb for that. Now, some people might say, why use DVDs at all? Almost everyone has a DVD player or a Blu-ray DVD player, and it's easy to use. You put in a disc and let your TV. You can run it from your TV, and from the DVD, and play it through your TV. And DVDs are a long-term permanent storage option, archiving option, that I highly recommend people use to back up important stuff from your computer, from your, copy your movies and videos from your smartphones and cell phones, or video cameras or actual cameras, and copy those onto your computer, because eventually, if you can't, eventually smartphones and everything else, they run out of room. So if you want to keep any of that stuff, you have to copy it to your computer. But everybody's supposed to back up their computers too. And most people use external hard drives and stuff like that. DVDs are an excellent option to back up important files and stuff like that, because they're pretty permanent. They last for decades, as long as you keep them out of direct sunlight or or super hot environments like in a car. Whereas computer hard drives and external hard drives, they have a 5-year lifespan, give or take, a year or two. Sometimes you get hard drives and external drives that'll last less than that. Sometimes they'll last longer than that. Even the new solid state drives, SSD drives, they're rated between 5 and 10 years. But DVDs will last decades, and as long as you keep them out of direct sunlight and super high heat, like leaving in a car where it can get over 130 degrees or hotter. Once you've written a DVD or Blu-ray disc, they are permanent. They can't be deleted. If you copy things to your computer or an external drive or USB sticks, those can be overwritten or accidentally deleted. That is not the case with DVDs. So, in my opinion, it's a good idea for everybody to copy their, important, photos, images, videos, music files, documents, and other important files that you might have to DVDs as a backup option. Now, and a typical DVD is 4.7 gigabytes. That can hold quite a lot of documents. And if you have to, if you need more than that, use a different DVD. DVDs are low cost. They don't cost much, and but there are different types of DVDs, and a lot of people don't know that. There are a special type of DVD called M-Disc, which are rated for 1,000 years. I mean, as far as I know, there is no other backup medium that lasts that long. And they're available. You have to have a special DVD burner writer or Blu-ray DVD, burner writer that is what they call M-Disc capable. But they claim 1,000 years, and that's incredible. And you can have those even in your car in high heat. They'll survive. Do better than that. Whereas even though regular DVDs can last decades, they don't do well in high heat or in direct sunlight. Whereas these M-Discs can. And a lot of people don't know that. And the M-Disc DVD burners and writers are not that much. Here's a couple of them right here on Amazon.com, and they're basically around $25 for internal or external DVD burner writer. That's M-Disc capable. They also can burn regular DVDs and CDs and stuff like that. And if you really need a lot of space, well, then you get a Blu-ray DVD burner writer, where instead of the typical 4.7 gigabytes, you can back up 25 gigabytes, 50 gigabytes, 100 gigabytes, and of course they have the regular and the M-Disc type as well. The M-Disc costs a little bit more, but the fact that you can get hundreds of years to 1,000 years, that's pretty good. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that there are different types of regular DVDs, and almost all new DVD burners and players can play all the formats. There's DVD plus R and DVD minus R or dash R. The plus R are the most compatible. DVD players have been around for a long time, and if the person that you're creating the DVD for has a DVD player that's older, it's like over 7 years old, 7 years old or older, they may not be able to read the DVD-Rs. So that's something to consider as well. If you want the most compatible, you get the DVD plus R, and you can get 100 of them for $25. That's very reasonable. And the DVD-Rs, the same thing. You get 100 of them for like 20 less. In this case, $23. So that's very reasonable. Now, they also have them, like I said, the M-Disc, the super long-lasting ones that can handle being in cars and really hot environments and stuff like that. And some people have printers that can print directly to DVDs and or Blu-ray discs, but you have to buy specially coded DVDs for that. Otherwise, you can just use a permanent marker to write, what the DVD stands for, or what's on the DVD. So, in case you didn't know that there's differences between the DVDs, that's important. And in the USA, you can get DVDs at supermarkets, drugstores, convenience stores, as well as all the electronic stores, business supply stores. Of course, you can order them online. Now, for people that are first getting into creating DVDs for the first time, or you just switch from Windows or Mac computers to Linux, and I highly recommend that you get what they call rewritable discs, which is like DVD plus RW, the RW for rewritable, or DVD dash RW. They make those for CDs as well, like if you're creating music CDs, and that way, while you're learning how to use the program, the various programs that can create, that can burn DVDs or CDs or Blu-ray discs, if you have a Blu-ray players, you don't go through a lot of what they call the other DVDs. The regular DVDs are write once. If you make a mistake, you have to throw it out. They call that making coasters. And you can go through quite a few of them before you figure it out, and then you might get lucky, and it might work the first time for you. I'd highly recommend getting at least a couple rewritable DVDs for people who want to learn how, or want to create DVDs and learn how to use them and make the program and use programs that create them. If you don't have a DVD burners, internal and external, are right around $25. And these are DVD burners, not just players. I mean, you can make DVDs, and all of them can make CDs as well. And if you want Blu-ray, well, then you need to use a Blu-ray. You have to buy a Blu-ray burner, and they're more expensive, but they're worth it if you need it. Now, for this program, Bombono, I don't know that it can do Blu-rays, but it can certainly do DVDs. I've used it many times for that. Now, I like Bombono. It's got a different interface. It's a little different than the typical DVD creator programs, which is why I'm doing this video. But once you figure it out, it's really simple to use. And but there is some, like I said, there's some initial considerations and preparations. If you've just installed Linux, or it's the first time you're going to do video editing or creating video, projects like a DVD, you have to install some multimedia software packages, support packages. When you first install Linux Mint, one of the very first questions is install third-party software packages, which includes multimedia stuff. Now, everybody's supposed to have checked that. If you didn't, you can install it afterwards. And there's a couple others that I would recommend. That third-party software, in Linux Mint, you have two ways, the two built-in ways to install software is what they call the software manager and the Synaptic Package Manager. I prefer the Synaptic Package Manager, and I'll get into that in a minute. But there's four packages I highly recommend you install right away, and they're directly related to processing video and audio. The first one is mint-meta-codecs, and that should have been installed if you checked install multimedia codecs. The next one is called Ubuntu-restricted-extras, and the third is UDF tools, and the fourth is Mencoder. Now, the reason I prefer the Synaptic Package Manager is that you can search for these, and then you can right-click them. In fact, I'll show you. I can search for Mint Metacodecs. I can click search and type in something, and I can right-click it and see if there's any recommended or suggested packages, and I can also install those. Now, you don't have to install. It's not recommended to always install all this recommended in software packages to a particular application. In this case, there's some I'm going to tell you about, and you do want to install all of them. So, as I just pointed out, this should have been installed when you installed Linux Mint, the Mint Metacodecs. The other is Ubuntu Restricted Extras, and you just search for that, and you right-click it, and you click mark. It'll say, mark for installation, and you click that. But then you can go down and say, oh, look, here's some recommended ones, and it has 3 different options there. You want to install every one of those, and which means you'll have to right-click it. Go back to this, select the next one, right-click it again, go back to that mark for recommended, and pick the next one, and you have to do that until you've selected them all. And the next one I brought up was UDF Tools. This is mostly for people that have homemade disks from a different operating system, like Microsoft Windows, and these only need to be done once. I mean, you only need to, like it said here, this only needs, when you first install Linux Mint, or you're just about to do some video or audio, file editings, these packages only need to be installed once. You don't have to worry about it after that. So, if you go into the Synaptic Package Manager, then look for UDF Tools, and then right-click that, and see, now this one has recommended and suggested packages. Install them all, and you have to right-click, go to recommended, install that one, then right-click, go to suggested, install the packages for that, and then you search for the next one, and which in this case is Mencoder, and you click on that, you right-click it, and install the suggested packages. If there's any recommended, you install those too. Now, in addition to that, because there is so many video formats over the years, there's MPEG, MPEG-4, there's MKV, there's Windows Media video files, there's various iPhone video files, Macintosh video files and stuff like that. In order for you to be able to process those, you need to install the software to do that. You only need to do it once, but once you've done that, they're there. So whenever you want to use it, you can. Now, another program that is already installed in Linux Mint, or you can install it from the Synaptic Package Manager, is called FFmpeg. Now, that is used for processing video and audio by an incredible amount of software. As a on the back end, behind the scenes. So I recommend installing a newer version of that, version 3 or higher. And I have instructions in this video on the screen right now, and on the website, and I'll provide a link to that. Another way to get as many audio and video codecs, that's what they call them, or software support packages, is to install certain video and audio software applications and all their recommended and suggested packages. And the 3 I tell people to install, the first one is Kden Live, an excellent video editor. And then the second one is K3B, which is a superb DVD, CD, Blu-ray disc application for writing burning discs or ripping from them. Even though Linux Mint comes with various DVD, CD applications like XFBurn or Bracero, KDE already comes with K3B. I still recommend installing K3B. To me, it's the absolute best program for Linux for DVDs, DVD, CD, Blu-ray discs application program. And the third one is an audio converter program called Sound Converter with a K. That can convert audio files, in many different formats, into MP3 formats or into different formats from that, and it can also rip music CDs into digital files or separate an audio track from a video file. Now, if I go back to the Synaptic Package Manager, I can tell it to search for KDen Live. I can right-click, click to install it, and then right-click and and you can see it's got a bunch of different recommended packages. Install each, click all of those. The same for the suggested one. And then click, K3B, the DVD CD application. Do the same thing. Right-click that. And select all the recommended and suggested packages. Then search. Then the other one I recommended was called Sound Converter with a K. Click search. Now you can see I've already installed these, but if you right-click it, it would say, mark for installation. You would click that, and then you would go down, and if there's any recommended or suggested packages, install those. Now you can see there's a whole bunch of them for this. Install all of those. And now, once you've marked all these packages that you want to install, and of course, in this case, you want to install Bombono, which is the DVD authoring program that we're going to use to create our own custom DVDs. And like I said, there are others, and you can try them all. My favorite is Bombono, but DVD works, and DVD Styler works, and there are some others. But Bombono is my favorite. And of course, you right-click that, and you select Mark for installation, and then you go through. Is there any recommended or suggested packages, and you install those. Then when you're ready, you click Apply. And then it'll say OK. And when it's finished, just exit the Synaptic Package Manager. Now, because you just installed a whole bunch of stuff, I highly recommend that you restart your computer. Or at least log out and log back in. Restarting would be even better. Now, this particular person, their camera, their nature camera that they have, produced AVI video files. That's an older video format. That is that may require installing. You can go into the Synaptic Package Manager, the place I was just at, and search for AVI and see if there's any related packages to that, and install those as well, like libavi. If they were WebM, which is a newer HTML5 video format that's common on the internet, you could search for WebM and install those. It just depends on your project. All these programs that I've just mentioned only takes a few minutes to install, and that covers pretty much 90% of all the various video formats there are. And if need be, you could always convert them. There are many excellent video and audio, what they call multimedia converters, that can convert one video format or one audio format to another. But programs like Bombono, I can use AVI files, I can use WebM files, I can use MP4 video files or MKV video files, as long as I've got the supporting video and audio packages installed, which is what this is. Part of the initial preparation. And like I said, that only has to be done once. Once that's done, you don't have to worry about it. Okay. Now, restart, you come back in and you say, okay, I've installed everything I'm supposed to have, I've got everything I need to create my project. Okay. So, how do you use Bombono? Alright, now, what you can do, and just to give you an example, I've already gone through a project and created one, and here it is on my screen. This is a DVD that I created using Bombono, and I got my own custom buttons which work using a remote control in your DVD or Blu-ray player. You can navigate, you can pick different ones, and the first one has 80. It's a link to 80 separate AVI video files. The one Linux Mint member had 63 video files from these nature cameras that he wanted to put on there for his dad, and apparently tried to use DVD or one of the other programs, and they couldn't handle the number of video files. Well, Bombono could easily do it. I didn't have 63 separate video files, so I just took a large video file I had and I split it into 80 pieces, and this one button here will play all of them. And then I had a video of fireworks, which I added to this button here will play that video. And then I just, for the heck of it, I threw in a music video and a funny animal YouTube video here. Now, when you mouse over, or you use your remote control from your actual DVD or Blu-ray player, you can see it highlights, and you can select whether to highlight the whole button or just the outline, and you can actually chain it to a different menu, and it works incredibly well. Like here, I can go, and there's the video of various fireworks. And I can go back to the DVD menu, and I can click, music video. I can go back to the DVD menu, click the funny animal video, and this I can click this one, which is this will link to 80 different videos. Now, so how do you use Bombono to do this? Well, it's actually incredibly simple. After you've installed Bombono, you just double click on Bombono, the program comes up, and there's three main three tabs. There's the source, which is where you add your videos and any pictures and stuff like that. There's a menu button, which is where you design and control how your DVD project's going to look. And then there's an output, which is how you create the DVD. And it's got some excellent features there. For instance, I could just, instead of like going through, burning up a bunch of discs, not sure if they're going to do what I want, you could just write it to a DVD folder, or you could write it to a disk image. I usually select the disk image because it not only creates the DVD folder, it also creates an ISO, and what they call an ISO file, which is a disk image file, which can be burned by, right to DVDs or USB sticks for that matter, using pretty much any DVD program. Or you can go and click Burn to DVD, and it will burn to a DVD. If you've got a blank DVD disc in your DVD burner, then it will burn directly to the disc. If I select Write disk image or one of these other options, it will still come up and give you an option to burn to the DVD disc later on. Now, you notice in the upper right is a button that says DVD. Now it says 4.3 gigabytes. Bombono is reserving some space, because a typical DVD is 4.7 gigabytes, but there's also dual layer DVDs, which is twice that, but if you want to make a DVD that's compatible, that you want to be compatible for almost any DVD player, use a standard DVD, not a dual layer one, although you could if you want to. Now when you first bring up Bombono, it comes up and it asks you select a project. There's PAL, which is the European DVD, and there's NTSC, which is the North American. You can tell it to remember it or not. In this instance, I'm going to use NTSC. I would recommend that you go into the project and edit Bombono's preferences. The first one is the default folder for the authoring. Like most Linux applications, they have a user configuration file that's hidden because they don't want people messing it up. But when you're creating a DVD project, that configuration folder can have 10 gigabytes of video files and stuff like that too. And I don't want to have to go, tell my file manager to go in and show hidden files, So if I want to go in there and delete what's in there after I've done a project or I want to start over. Now, if you start Bombono, before you create, it'll know. It'll ask you to delete everything in that folder. But I changed that folder. I created a Bombono DVD video folder underneath my videos folder, and I change Bombono's user preferences to use that here. You just click Other. You click your username, and then you go to your video folder, and you can create a folder and type what you in. I created this Bombono DVD folder because that's where I want Bombono to put everything it's going to create there. Now, it also has its own little file browser, which you can put on, but you don't really need it. I mean, you can. And then it's got an option for multi-core CPU support. Now, this is pretty handy. I'm using a very old, ancient, underpowered computer that's only got a dual-core processor, but it was set on one. Now, the more processors you use, the faster it'll create your project. Most newer processors are at least 4 cores or higher. You could use 2 cores and still do other stuff while it's working. This computer will, once I start creating the what they call rendering or creating the actual DVD, it just doesn't have the resources. It's going to slow down to a crawl. But I'm still wanting to use as much of the computer's power as I can, so I will change that. The 2-pass encoding isn't really necessary, but if you want that, you could select that. Okay, now I also recommend that you take all your videos that you want for your new DVD project, and some pictures that you may want for the DVD menu background, or for the buttons, because you can put your own custom pictures on the buttons. Or if it's a video, it can use the video on that. The sample I showed you before was a motion option, which means it was using the videos the buttons referenced as to display on that. And you could set an audio soundtrack. You could even record your own voice if it's for family and friends and stuff like that, and use that as a background. Now, I would recommend creating a folder like New DVD and copying in, the various video files that you want to use. Now, if you've got different kinds, maybe these videos are for nature videos, but these videos are more family oriented, then you might want to create different categories, or even rename the videos. Most most cameras and or smartphones, people take videos on their smartphones and cameras and video cameras and stuff like that. They're very generic names. I mean, they don't really tell you anything. It's a good idea to rename them. That way you can categorize them by an event. These are nature videos of this type of animal, or this area, or these are family videos from someone's birthday or graduation or whatever. Now, in this one folder, I've got 80 AVI videos, generically named, but I also have some music videos and an animal video, and I threw in a few pictures. In this case, I've just put Linux Mint images, and I'll show you why. And I have a music file, because I want a background music when I put the DVD in, that's playing. Now, some people may not want any background music. You may want to record your own voice, or use one of the soundtracks from one of the videos. But anyway, it's to me anyway. It makes it simpler to create a new DVD if you put everything you want on that DVD into a folder called New DVD, which you can reference from your Bombono project. So you brought up Bombono. Okay, now you need to add the video files. So you click the Add button. Okay, browse to your home folder, which is your username on your Linux desktop, and wherever you've got your videos and pictures that you have. Now, if you have a whole bunch of pictures, this is a little bit of a non sequitur side note. If you have a whole lot of images, still images, it would be better to create what they call a slideshow video. It's called a slideshow video of those pictures, and just attach that video as one of your video sources. And there's many different types of programs. Most video editors like Kdenlive can do that. OpenShot. There are actual quote slideshow and movie makers, what they call them. My favorite one of those is FF Diaporama. There's another one called Imagination, Videoporama, and you can research that. There's video tutorials on those as well. In this case, though, I've already put everything I wanted for this particular DVD project underneath my videos folder in my new DVD folder. So I'm going to highlight, I can click the first one, and I can just either mouse down to highlight them all, or I can click the first one and hit Control A. Well, actually, click the first one and hit Shift End, and that'll highlight the ones from then on, and click Open. And it takes a few seconds, and there's my videos. Now, you'll see that it's created a little, it tries to read the first few frames of the video file and show a little preview here. Most video files, well, not most, but a lot of them, they're blank. Some will show, as you can see here, certain pictures will show up, and certain videos do have, on the first frame or two, will have something there. What I did notice is that if you add a video and one of these little pictures here is like highlighted, like in orange or a solid color, the whole picture thing, it might mean that the video is bad or corrupted. So you may want to check that. Now, I've added all my individual videos. Okay, now I want to add that one folder that has the 80 separate videos. So I double click that, click the first one. In this case, I do want to hit Control A, which selects them all, and I just click Open. Give it some time to add them, and as you can see, it added them. A whole bunch of them, okay? Now, you can rearrange the order. Now, in my case, I want to play those 80 videos because they're in their order, their exact order. Starting with the first one, going strictly to the next one. But you can change that up. You can also rearrange. I mean, you can simply, just move a file up, and rearrange the order. And the reason for that is you can click. There's various options. Okay. Now, so I've added all the video files and pictures that I want for my project. Now I need to design a menu. So I click Menu. The first thing you want to do here is click the plus button to add a menu. Now you can adjust the size of this. If it might be better for most people to make this full screen. So I'm gonna. And all you gotta do is let your mouse drift over the edge. You can hit the plus button up here to make it full screen, if that helps. You can resize it, is basically what I'm saying. You can also resize certain portions. See? I can resize that, which displays various information. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is click the plus sign to add a menu under Menu List. And there's a menu. I can change the name of that if I want. I can right-click it and rename it. Call it, DVD Menu 1, or I can call it whatever I want, or just leave it as Menu 1 and hit Enter. Okay. But here's where some of the really cool stuff comes in. If you right-click the menu and you click Menu Settings, you get some options here. These are really cool options. You can create a motion menu where the DVD menu buttons will actually display the videos underneath them, or not. You can leave them static. So if you click that, and then you can choose the duration, in second, like it says in seconds here, of how long it's going to play that, and if you want it to loop, or if you just want it to go to, what happens after it plays that. Do you want to start playing all the videos, or go to a particular menu? Normally you would just click loop. It's already on that, so you don't have to change anything. If you want an audio soundtrack, whether if you're like in this case, it happened to be for his father, and it's a nature video. He could use nature sounds. He could use his own voice to say, "Hey, Dad," or maybe his dad has a favorite song. He could put that on there, and you can click that. Now, I had a particular song underneath my videos folder and my new DVD folder that I want to use as the background music for whenever this DVD comes on. And if you don't want, you can always pick still picture instead of the motion menu. It's up to you. I prefer the motion menu. And if you don't want any external audio, just leave it blank. Click OK. Alright, now it's not, here's the menu design screen on the right here. If you click this button here, it now pops over here. Now the initial screen is just black. You can right click that and change the color of the setting. You can pick a color. You click this little dropper button and pick whatever color you want. I can pick blue, and a blue background, or any other color, or in my case, I would prefer an image that personalizes it, because I'm doing this in Linux Mint and it's a tutorial. If I was doing this for family, I would use a family picture. If it was a nature, if it was a theme oriented DVD I'm creating, like nature, then I would use a nature image, but in this case it's I'm using Linux Mint, so I'm going to pick this Linux Mint here. Now, even though it already has these options up top, this one is a selection arrow. That's a text tool. Selection tool, text tool. These are various buttons that you can use on your menu. This is the font and the size of the font: bold, italics, underline, the color. This shows the frame that's going to show that that will show up on the DVD menu. This is a snap to grid. You can use that if you want to. I don't use that very much. I would recommend that you pick even though it's on one, just pick one, like any of these top ones for your buttons. I'm just going to pick classic, okay, and then I take my this first menu. You can actually have multiple menus, and that's why if you take the time beforehand to put if your videos don't already have names, give them names. Rename them before you start, in your file manager, to represent what they are. And that way, because you may want, like he had 63 AVI videos, the person that created this Linux Mint question, and you can have one button represent all of them, or and just give it a name, or you may want to break them down. The first 10 are nature videos from this place, and the next 10 are from a nature video, and you can create a different button for each one. Well, it's going to be hard to do that if they don't have a name. If you didn't name the files to represent that. It could be this child's birthday and the dates, or graduation, or went to a concert and this is the concert, or some holiday, whatever. So if you if you take a little time to name your video and files and stuff like that, that will help you when you go to create your DVD menu. In this case, the music videos and stuff already have names, and the fireworks video and the animal video. So I can just pick. But I want my actual my DVD menu, my first DVD menu, which is normally my only DVD menu, but you can add multiple menus and chain them. If I just, in this case, for this person, if I would just want, I right click and I can set a poster. That's what they call it, which is your actual main menu image, and I can just pick one, and there it is. And then you can change the settings for that. You can, what are called fill, fit, and stretch. Fill usually works pretty good because that'll fill the whole screen now. But you can mess around with that and you can try each one to see. And there's as you can see here, I chose fit, which is the actual image. But you'll notice it shows the background. Well, you may not want that, so you may want to stretch it. Or you might want to choose fill. It's up to you. Yet that depends on you and your image. But if you click this box up here, that shows you the area that you have to work within. You want everything in that. So now in this case, I'm just going to use the fill option, so the image fills the screen the way I want it. Okay. Now I want to add a video. So I'm going to grab this, and I can just, and there's various options here. You can also add, if you've got subtitle tracks, you can add those if you want to. You just you click a video and you just drag it over, let go, and there's a button for that video. Now I want this particular, happens to be a music video, so I'm going to put that over here. I can resize it by, once it's highlighted using arrows, I can make it any size I want. I can change the button using these different options. Now, these options that are at the top will allow the videos and or images to show through. Obviously, these ones down here are solid. And are more navigation oriented for going to different menus and stuff. I'll just pick one right there. Okay. Now, you also want to title your menu. Usually, you don't have to, but and you can click the selection button, click that, and move it around or wherever you want, but stay within the borders. Okay. You can also change the size. You can change the color. Click text again and put a sub. You might want to put, I always put a date on there, but you don't have to. You could just have bump on it. But I'm going to put a date. I can click that arrow, select arrow, and I can move that around. I can make that smaller, which I'm going to do, and then move it around. That looks, because it's a dark background, that's hard to see, so I'm going to change the color, make that a little bit brighter. Different option. Boom, there. Okay, so now I've added a title, a date, and one video button. You don't have to title the buttons, but it's a good idea. And you want to use a smaller font for that. So I'm going to pick text. I'm going to pick a color. Okay. Now, obviously, that's too large. I'm going to shrink that a little bit for that size of a button. So. I must have hit enter, so I'm going to click the select tool again. Click that. I'm going to shrink that a little bit. Select a 12 font, and then I move it so it lines up properly. Or, you can line it up any way you want. Okay, so now I've got one music video. Now, I could put the actual name of the music video, It's up to you, if you want to. Alright, then I want to put my funny animal video on there. Move that to where I want it. I can change, the button characteristics, to one of these options up here. And I can resize it as long as I see that grid, I can resize it and give it a name. Again, use the select tool to change it or line it up better if you want. Okay, and let's see, my fireworks video, just add that. Boop. And you can just try different ones. It's up to you. Let's see which one. Boop. Click. Yeah, it's got to be highlighted to change it. Boom. Can't remember this. Okay. Click the text. Label the button. Fire. Click the selection arrow to highlight my text and line it up. Okay. Now in this first, I'm duplicating the process I went through to create the DVD I showed you earlier, the menu, and now I want to add a button in the upper left here for representing those 80 AVI videos, which I want to play sequentially in order. So, and they start with segment. So I just move that over here. Okay. I'm going to line that up a little bit. like that. Now, each button is already referencing a link to what it represents. In this case, this video. In this case, that video. They represent each video. I'm going to add my text here. Alright, but there's other options here, which I'm going to get to in a moment. Okay, now I've got my structure the way I want it. When you right click these, there's an option here to set the poster. Okay, now what that means is, what is this image going to show here? I can use a still picture, if I have a still image that I want to use, I could use I can use a still image, or I can set the poster to what the actual video is, which is what I usually do. This is the start of but it's up to you. This one link here, this one DVD button represents 80 separate videos. I could have it linked to, an image or from one of these videos, or put a static image, a still image. I usually link it to the actual video. I set the poster, which is just the image for the button and/or menu. To that, okay, and for the fireworks, I'm going to set the poster to the fireworks, and for the music video to that particular music video, I'm going to set and for the funny animal one, and I could have done that at the same time, as I was placing the videos. Okay, now, because I selected in my menu settings for motion, when I play this, the videos are going to play 20, in my case 21 seconds, in each of these little windows. You may like that, you may not. I think it's pretty cool. If you don't want that, turn off the motion thing and just use static images. That's up to you. Okay, so there's my menu. Now if I want to add another menu, I just click the add button and create another menu, and I have to click that. I can right click, set my poster to the new menu, and then I can add buttons for other videos, and I could keep doing that. Now, in order for this menu to get to the other menu, there's different activities that you can set, and I'm about to get to that in a minute. Okay, with this one button representing all these different videos, when you right click that, what it represents, it's going to start playing the first video of those videos. When you right click that, there's an end action. Most of these other options you don't have to worry about, unless you want to add subtitles. But the end action is important, because that's how you control what's going to happen after it plays the video. You can have it automatically just continue to play come back to the menu, which is what it's on, go to the next video, or play all. Now, one of the reasons why I added all those AVI videos at the bottom was because they're all in order. I could just tell it to go to the next video, or I could tell it to go to a next menu. In this case, I would tell it to go to the next video, or I can specify go to this specific, go to the next video I want it to go to, and I can pick from them all. So in this case, I'm going to tell it to go to the next video. Now I have to go through each one of these, and there's 80 of them, and tell it to go to the next video, to go to the next one or pick one. Okay, that's only because this one button represents 80 videos. I could just say select all, but I want it to specifically go to each one, so I have to go through every one of them. Then down at the bottom, on the last one, I want to change its last action to go back to the menu, to go to the menu that spawned it, in this case the first menu. And I'm not going to go through all 80 of them right now for this tutorial, but I did that before. Now if I click on this this music video one, okay, which represents this particular video here, I want its end action to just go back. It's already on it. Go back to the menu. If I wanted it to automatically go to the funny animal video, well, then I could just select go to the funny animal video. Make its end action go to the funny animal video, and then change that one to go to back to the menu. Or if I go to the funny animal video, I can change its action to go back to the menu, which is what it's already on, or to go to the next video, or to a specific video. I always have it go back to the menu and then check it, but you may want to play one right after the other. Now, if I want this to be able to go to another menu, okay, I have to pick. I have to add a button to do that, or I can have one of the videos automatically go there. I think it's better to add a button. So a navigation button like go to next, and you'll need an image that you can use to do that with. I'm just dragging that over there to use the button. That's awfully large, so I'm going to shrink that. Just shrink that down, and I put it right there. I want to add text, although it's pretty obvious that means next, but I'm going to still add text to it. Next. Line that up. Now, if I right click this button, I can tell it to link to menu 2. I could do the same with the text if I want to, just in case. But really. So now I've got that set up. At this point, if that's all I wanted to do, I could click on the output and start the project, and start creating the final project. Or I could go to menu 2, and I can start adding other videos. Now, if I don't really want to mess around too much with I could just, it's that simple. If I don't have to label them, put text underneath, but it's up to you if you want to. And depending on your background image, you may want, obviously you may want to resize them, so it doesn't interfere with the image, behind it. It's up, but that's it's entirely up to you. You don't have to. Okay. And again, you can change the boxes any way you want. I mean, using these options up here. Or just leave them all whatever color you want. Now I've just added those. Now it would be a good idea to add another navigation button. So to go back to the first one, but you have to use an image to add that. Okay, resize that. Add some text. Click my selection button so I can move that where I want it. Okay. Maybe resize that a little bit. Okay, now I want to link that to the first menu. Okay. Now, you can also change the buttons. Normally when you mouse over them or on a TV remote control or DVD player or Blu-ray player remote control, it'll highlight the whole button. But you can say, no, I only want to highlight the border only. So you can go through and say, hey, highlight only the borders. Or you can highlight the whole button. It's up to you. And again, you could label each one. You can go through, in this case, I'm not going to label them. I'm not going to put text underneath each one, although you might want to, depending, on your situation. But these are all music videos, and I'm going to want to listen to them all. So this particular button represents this video. So I go over here to locate that video, and then I create, what do I want it to do for the next one? Well, I want to play the next video. So it will go to the next one, but I can choose where I want that to go, which one I want it to go to. If I forget what button represents what because I didn't put text under there, I can just right-click it and see the link, and it will tell me, okay, that button represents this video. So I want this one to go to that video. And when that one's finished playing, I want to go to this one. So I check what it is. Okay, it's that one. Okay. And so, wait a second. Okay, link. Okay, it's going to play that video, so I want to go to that one and make sure that it goes to the next video I want to go to, which is this one, which is the one up here. The next button following that is thinking out loud. So I want this one to go to the thinking out loud music video, and this one links to Dance All Days, so I want to change the Thinking Out Loud video to go to Dance All Days. And then I want to change that one to go to this one. Okay. And this button represents Everybody Have Fun Tonight, so go to Dance All Days, tell it's when it's finished playing either to go back to the menu or to go to the next video, but I want to go to the next video. Most people, it's up to you. You can have it go right back to the menu, or you can play the next video, or you can tell it to play them all. I want to go to Everybody Have Fun Tonight. Now, on that one, I can either have it go back to the first menu, or I can just have it go back to the menu. I am going to make it go back to the menu for this one. This menu, which is menu 2. Okay, so now I've designed my menus. Okay, which is, as you can see, besides having to, it's pretty simple to do. Now, in this one, I'm not going to use a motion menu. If I want it to be a motion menu, I can. I can use a still picture. If I want an audio track, I can. In this case, I'm not going to put an audio track because it's a whole bunch of music videos. I am going to give it a name, though. I'm going to put music videos up there, so I'm going to put time up there. Color, boom. I want it to be bold and a little bit larger, so I just select those, line it up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to shrink that a little bit so it doesn't interfere with my background image. Line it up a little bit better over there. Okay, so now I'm done. Now I've designed my video. Now I'm going to save the project. You can click save and give it yourself a name. Now, this would be test 3. You can call it whatever you want. Dad's video, nature video, and put maybe a date for your test. Okay. All right. Now, once you get the hang of this, it's actually pretty quick to do. And most people only create one menu. I just wanted to show you that you can create as many menus as you want. Even though there's 63 separate videos here, I could add 63 buttons if I wanted to do that, or I could just add one button to represent them all. I mean, it's just up to you what you want to do. Now, if you've noticed, it says that in the upper left here that I've added more videos than the DVD can handle. I'm up to it thinks I'm up to 5.1 gigabytes. You want to keep an eye on that. You don't want to go over that. But I've used Bombono many times before, so I know that there is some leeway with that. Once it converts all these videos that I've added, what they call transcodes them, chances are it's going to be less than the 4.3 gigabytes it wants. So it's giving me a warning here, it's showing red here, but I'm pretty certain that I can get away with that. It may not let you. That's why it's important when you go to choose your output. Instead of going straight to a DVD, which you can risk wasting a DVD because it may come back and say, hey, that's too much. Or one of your videos could be bad, and you may have to remove that video. If it's a good idea to check them first. But if you select right to image, or which is I always select right to image and just put a DVD label in there, and then you just click build video. Now it's going to take a while in this case because there's 80 it depends on how large the videos are and how much. In this case, it's a completely full DVD. Now, when I click build, it's going to come up and it's going to warn me. Okay, the DVD capacity is exceeded. Okay, now I already know that because of the way that Bombono works, chances are when I could tell it to continue, the DVD ISO file will probably be small enough to fit on the DVD. That doesn't mean that's going to always be the case. Most of the time when I create these, it's always below the 4.3 gigabytes there. And then it's going to come back and say, hey, there's stuff already in this folder because I already did a previous one and wants to delete that. You would say yes. Now, in this case, I'm going to say no because I don't want to delete that. But once I say yes, this is going to show activity here. It will not show a status until after it's transcoded, converted all your videos into a common video MPEG format, which it uses for the DVDs. That's another reason why Bombono is really great. Because when you create your DVD project, it's going to play on older DVD players or modern DVD players, even though some of the video files that you added might be a format that older DVD players may not recognize, like WebM or something like that, or even MKV. Bombono converts them to MPEGs. I'll show you in a moment. If you go to the Bombono folder, it's working folder. It converts everything to MPG. It converted these MP4 to an MPG. It converted these AVIs to MPGs. And that is a format that will work in almost all older DVD players and newer DVD and Blu-ray players. Now you'll notice it created a DVD ISO file, which I can use any DVD program to burn to a disc. Although it will ask me, it'll give me the option to burn to a disc if when it finishes prepping. It also creates what I call the older style DVD folders, which you can also use to create a DVD with. But this folder here has 10 gigabytes of stuff in there. So, I usually, you can leave it there or you can delete it. It's up to you. The next project you create, it will tell you to delete it. So that's how you use Bombono. And, once it's finished, it'll take a long time, depending on how many videos you added and stuff like that. And on my system, on my older, slower computer hardware, it could take, an hour before it shows anything in the status, but it's working. You can click this button here to see details. This will be spinning. When it's finished, it'll come up with a little pop-up box that says, do you want to play it in the video player, or do you want to, because I chose to write to an image first, do you want to burn to a DVD? You'll get another chance to do that, or just exit. So, in this case, I'm just going to exit. Am I going to save those changes? Yes, save those. So, that's how to use Bombono. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Have a great day.